4 years, you guys. 4 years is how long it took me to finish my ABA journey to become a BCBA when grad school only takes 2 years. This was 4 years of setbacks, self-doubts, feeling like I was falling behind, left behind, just doubting every move I made, feeling like I can't, everybody is ahead of me, and why am I so far behind? And a lot of just negative thoughts that was surrounding those 4 years. In this video, I'm going to share with you my experiences throughout my ABA journey, the life lessons that I've learned, so that you can have a clear path, a clear focus on your path, create a healthy mindset, and stop comparing yourself to others while you are along your journey. Hi, I'm Ray, and I do want to share some things that you might be doing right now that you should not be doing, and just to give you this information so you can avoid it. Like I said, it took me 4 years to complete something that I originally went in with the mindset that I was going to be done in 2 years. When I tell you, setting that goal was the worst thing I possibly could have done. I should never have put such a goal out there that had so many, that was such a time constraint that any form of disruption within day-to-day life can push that time and disrupt everything. And there were so many outcomes that was out of my control, that could not control that one goal that I had that was based off a specific time frame. If you have set a goal that I'm going to have all of my fieldwork hours done by this time, this is how many fieldwork hours I'm getting every single month, this is when I'm going to graduate, this is how many classes I'm taking, this is the grade I'm getting in each of those classes, this is the GPA I'm going to have when I graduate. Yes, I did all of that. Whew, it was stressful. If that was you, and if that is you currently, write them down or rip them up, throw them in the trash, because life happens and we kind of get down on ourselves when we don't accomplish a goal, even though we're still on a path to accomplish that goal. But when we don't hit those milestones, we kind of put that negative energy within ourselves, and it messes up the enjoyment of really knowing that we are going to eventually accomplish this goal. But now that we realizing all these dates and times are passing, we didn't get done at this time, we're not getting the field work hours that we wanted, we had to put a pause on the field work hours, we're not having the grades that we wanted, we had to take a break from school. Like we're just constantly putting so much pressure on ourselves, and we have to stop. We are not in competition with other people. This journey is a marathon. This is not a race. One of the first things that I realized I had to do, and I did it way too late, but when I did it, I'm telling you, this was the best decision I've ever made. The first thing that I did was I stopped looking in the Facebook groups. You know what I'm talking about. You're in the Facebook groups. What scores on your mock exam did you get to where you passed the exam on the first try? Don't go down that rabbit hole of watching everybody's with their one and done, one and done, one and done, and I was pregnant and I had 3 kids at the same time, and I got 5 kids at home, and I'm married, and I did all of these things, and I passed on the first time. Don't do that to yourself. Do not do that to yourself. When you're reading other people's journeys and other people's experiences, and you're like, I don't have half of that. And then you put the pressure on either, I guarantee I will pass because I don't have to deal with none of that. Or if you've already failed, you're like putting more stress and doubt on yourself. Like, dang, they went through all of this and they still passed. What am I doing wrong? Or you're like, they got all of that, I don't have half of that, and I feel dumb, like I'm not retaining any information. So it kind of puts you back to where you're not, now you're stalling. You're probably slowing down on your field work hours. You're probably slowing down on starting your field work hours if you haven't already started. You're probably slowing down on classes. You're probably taking a break because it's like, this is too much pressure. Everybody's doing so good. I don't feel like I'm smart like them. I don't feel like I've accomplished as much as they do. Just stay off of the social media ABA group chats, the pages and groups and stuff. It's not worth it. It's not worth asking other people what they did to compare yourself. It's okay to ask and try to see like what the baseline of someone else's is. So you're like, oh, okay, maybe let me try to get around that baseline for myself versus I'm nowhere near where they're at. I'm going to fail. Because then you're just taking that negative energy, you're putting it on yourself, and then you just start giving up on yourself, which is not a good thing. That was the first thing I did, and when I tell you, it felt so amazing to not have to look at everybody else's stories, because I've seen some lot of good stories of accomplishments, and it's not to take away from them. Like, it's so amazing when somebody passed their exam and you're like, you want to celebrate too, but then your own ego within you starts to eat you alive, like, and it gives you that self-doubt. And that kind of brings me to the second tip of advice that I have for you guys, which I did, which was give yourself some grace. You have to give yourself some grace when you're going through this journey, because I am someone, when I tell you, again, I started out with such high hopes. And I tell you, I started out with such high hopes. I wasn't an RBT when I first started, because I was already making good money in the mental health field. But then I thought, I did a video on everything you need to know while you're going through grad school and your grad school and everything. So go watch that video, because that is important. I'll link it at the end. But just to like brush over, I didn't know that I did not have to be an RBT to become a BCBA. So I had left the job that I was at to come and become an RBT. And I told myself like I was going to be an RBT for 1 full year. When I tell you I was an RBT for 3 months and instantly went down to part-time. There was other reasons why I went down to part-time. I'm not going to lie. My daughter kind of wanted me to go part-time, because she was used to having so much access to me. And then, because I always worked like flexible jobs to where I can like pick her up from school, drop her off at school, and move around and everything, to where I worked a job where it's like I couldn't pick her up from school no more. I couldn't go to like her school plays, her school functions, her school parties. Like I had to be in a clinic all day long, and I didn't get home till like 5. Like she was not feeling that at all. This is why you should not compare your journey to other people, because a lot of my stuff wrapped around with my daughter too. I went back full time in the summertime, and it was so much. I started getting depressed because I've never worked at a job where I had to stay at this job all day long. It was like the most depressing thing. One of my clients was in a room and it had no windows, and it was just like I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was depressed. I left that job. I still stayed a full year, but I stayed like I really wasn't working as much. If there was any opportunity for me to go home early, I left early. And at first I was kind of like getting down on myself, because by the time I went back to full time at that job and I can start collecting my field work hours, I had realized in that moment, like, I'm working this full-time job. I'm depressed. My mental health is going down. I am not making as much money that I was making in the mental health field. I took a $5-6 pay cut. I'm not getting my field work hours. Like, I just started getting my field work hours, but I wasn't getting like the most important ones that I really needed, which was the unrestricted ones. I needed unrestricted, and I really wasn't getting those. Well, I was getting some, but I wasn't getting them like how I wanted to get them, because they had like this stage of like things that you have to do, the beginning stage and middle stage, and I'm like, I have no intentions on staying at this job that long to be going through all of this process. It was just so much. So I stopped. I got 300 field work hours. I stopped. I was in school full time. I stopped. I started taking 1 class a semester. I quit the job. I just was like, I'm done. It was just at that point, I said, I'm done with everything. Was it the second quarter? Did I have 2 quarters left or 3 quarters? I possibly could have had 3 quarters left of grad school, and I would have been done. You guys, I would have been done the very next 3 months. I only had 1 quarter left if I would have stayed on track. I did not stay on track. I had 3 classes left. No, I have 4 classes left. 2 quarters to go. I would have been on track, and I was almost done with that quarter. So I only had 2 classes basically, because that quarter would have ended and I would have had 2 classes left. And I would have graduated like 3 months later, because this is December. I would have graduated in March. Yeah. I was like, no, I can't. I took 1 class that next semester, and then I took another class that next semester, so I didn't graduate until the summer. I'm like, I don't care no more. I stopped taking my field work hours. I'm like, I don't want to do nothing right now. Everything was so overwhelming. And I started working at another job in the mental health field. I met one of my best work friends. That's my girl. I started having fun again. I started appreciating life. I was enjoying school. Like, I just started enjoying things all over again, because I started removing so many things that was just stressing me out, because I had this goal that I have to have this done. And this is the day I'm going to graduate. This is when I'm going to have all my fieldwork hours done. This is like, after I let all of that go, I'm like, yo, this is life. Like, I'm hanging out with coworkers now. We're going out at the work, going out for drinks, and we're having fun. I graduated, and like I said, that summer, and I turned 30 that summer, and that was my biggest goal for myself. That was a goal I set years ago. I told myself after I graduated with my bachelor's, I don't want to go back to school. I knew I had to go back to school to become a BCBA, but I graduated in 2018, and I was like, 2017, December 2017. I was like, I'm not going back to school. But I told myself I will have my master's degree by 30. I turned 30 May 25th. I had my master's. I graduated June 6th or June 10th. I was like, that is the only celebration I need. Me and my daughter and my little sister went to Puerto Rico. We had fun. I'm like, I am done. I achieved at least one goal that I set years ago. I just wanted to have my master's by 30. That was all I really cared about. But then that's when I started getting my fieldwork hours, and that took a whole nother year. And I did not care. I enjoyed it. I didn't study throughout that year. Like, I studied a little bit, but I didn't deep study. I didn't study. I was playing with studying, because, yeah, whatever. I enjoyed myself. So that is my second tip of advice, is to give yourself some grace, because you're going to need it. There's going to be so many times where you're feeling burnt out, overwhelmed, stressed out. You're feeling all these self-doubt moments and down on yourself, and it's going to eat you alive if you allow it. The third thing that I have for you guys that I did is you have to learn self-awareness. This is really playing off of the last tip, part 2, but the 3 is you have to know when you're overwhelmed. Some people don't know until it's too late and they give up on everything. Like me! I waited too long. I kept thinking I can do it, and by the time I was so aware that I can't do this, I was like, I gave up on everything besides school, because I just started taking 1 class, because school really wasn't a problem. It wasn't. I was taking online school. I'm like, school ain't the problem. It was just everything on top of doing school that was the problem. So I waited till I wasn't aware. I was so focused on my goal and achieving that goal that I was not using self-awareness to understand that I was burnt out and that I was declining and I was about to throw everything away. So you have to have self-awareness, you guys. Please. My 4th tip of advice for you guys is, I know we all have that compulsion to compulsion. I suck at everything that is English of the English language, so I'm going to say a lot of words wrong. I'm okay. Don't judge me. If you do, I mean, whatever. I don't really care. But I know that I'm saying things wrong, so you don't have to correct me, because I already know. But if you have that need to research and check on other people and ask other people how long they did something and what their test scores was and how many tries and did they pass on the first time and what they if you have that need to ask to get information, do it genuinely out of not comparing yourself, but genuinely out of where do you need to be to get to that level of success. You're not asking somebody did they pass on the first time, and then you're like, I don't feel that, so now I'm going down and I'm going to stop doing this, and now I'm getting depressed, and now I feel like I'm the dumbest person in the world. You're not comparing yourself to see people as above you, but you're also not looking at where other people are and going like, oh, I'm better than you, and looking down on them. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't compare yourself to look down on other people to feed your ego, but also don't compare yourself to people to where other people's status in life is making you feel down on yourself and make you feel inferior to them. If you're going to compare yourself like that's the baseline that I need to be in this, and these are the steps that I need to achieve to get to that level. Not I'm comparing myself so I can outdo you, but like I see where you at. What steps did you take to get to that level? Because I'm trying to be successful too. I hope that all made sense. I feel like it made sense. Yeah. Your journey is going to be the best thing that you possibly have to stand on. Because when you become a supervisor, you're going to run across so many inspiring BCBAs, and they're going to be looking up to you. And your journey is what's going to feed them and motivate them and keep them going. So you have to enjoy your journey to where when you're telling inspiring BCBAs what to expect and how to navigate, it's not scaring them off or scaring them away from the field or making them feel like this is the bad decision for their life. It's like inspiring them like, these are the tips that I did. This is what you should do. This is how you navigate this period of your life. Don't feel guilty if this doesn't go your way. Like, you're going to have so many people looking up to you, even RBTs just wanting to ask questions. So you want to be able to look back at your experience and be like, yeah, it was worth it. Like, it was genuinely worth it. Like, even though I was so stressed out, I can still come to you guys and share my journey. And I learned at the end. It was at the end of my journey. But I learned. And I started to really enjoy it. I learned so much. I met so many other inspiring BCBAs. Some of them are BCBAs right now. And you can just like appreciate it so much more when you're taking your time. You're accepting your failures. You're praising other people for their wins, and you're not comparing yourselves like their wins doesn't take from you. It's the best feeling ever, you guys. But again, here's that video I was talking about, everything that you need to know on your ABA journey. And my next video will be about why quitting my job as an RBT was the best decision I ever made. So you might want to subscribe so you can see that video. See you. Bye.